Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to go ahead and show you guys a quick and easy cook-up rice recipe. Now cook-up rice is the best one-pot meal ever, and it's very quick and simple, and it's great for a weeknight meal. So what I'm going to need to make my cook-up rice today is some washed white rice. I have some okra that I've gone ahead and I've cut the stems and washed. I also have some chopped carrots, as well as some chopped hot pepper, some sliced up scallions, some chopped onions, as well as some salt to taste. I also have some oil that I'm going to go ahead and saute all of my veggies in, and I have some red beans. Now if you wanted, you could use any type of bean such as black eye or just anything else you have on hand. I also have some turkey tenderloins here that I've gone ahead and I've marinated in some of my green seasoning and a little touch of black pepper, and of course I'll have all of these ingredients and the measurements listed down below as usual. I also have a little bit of brown sugar, which is not too traditional to regular cook-up rice, but what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to burn the brown sugar and I'm going to add the turkey to it so it gives the rice a really nice color. I have a nice heavy bottom pot heating up on high heat right now, and I also wanted to mention that I have some split peas here that I'm going to be using, and I went ahead and I cooked these until they were about al dente. Remember, these are going to cook when it goes into the rice, so I didn't want to cook them too much to where they got really mushy. So I just wanted to mention that I did have those. What I'm going to go ahead and do now is I'm going to put some oil in my pot, and I'm using just any type of light oil, so I'm going to be using grapeseed oil today, but you can use whichever you'd like. I'm also going to go ahead and add in my brown sugar. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this brown sugar cook until it starts to turn very bubbly and it starts to get very dark brown. Now you want to make sure you watch it and you keep stirring so this way it doesn't burn, or else it could start to get very bitter. After about 2 to 3 minutes, you're going to notice that the sugar starts to get very bubbly, and it's going to be twice as dark as it was before. At this point, we're going to go ahead and add in our turkey meat. Now, once you add in your meat, you do not want to stir it around too much for at least 2 to 3 minutes, so this way you can seal the meat at the bottom. It could get nice and brown. After 2 minutes, I went ahead and I started stirring around the turkey, and you want to get that sugar and that oil coated all over the turkey. Now I'm going to cook this for about 5 to 10 minutes, or just until all of that excess water that the turkey released evaporates. You want this mixture to be dry before you continue on to the next step. So I'm going to show you guys what that looks like. It's been about 8 minutes now, and as you guys can see, all of that water that the turkey had released has evaporated now, and it's a nice dry mixture. One of the reasons why this cook-up rice takes so quick to make is because we're using the turkey tenderloin, so it's going to be quick in cooking time. What I'm doing now is I'm adding in all of my chopped onions, all of my chopped carrots, as well as my hot pepper. And what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to mix this up, and I'm going to let it fry with the turkey in the oil and the sugar for about another 2 to 3 minutes, just until the onions start to soften a bit and the carrots start to soften a bit. It's been exactly 3 minutes now, and the mixture has dried down just a little more, so the carrots and the onions have softened up a bit. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and add in all of my rice, and as I said before, I'm using white rice. If you wanted to, you could go ahead and use parboiled rice for this, but just know that the parboiled rice is going to take longer in cooking time. So I'm using the white rice here just to go ahead and cut down on the cooking time. So you just want to give that a stir really quick, and you want to get the rice all coated and combined with the turkey and all of the vegetables. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go ahead and season this whole mixture with some salt. Now I'm using salt as per my taste, but add as much or as little as you would like. At this point, what I am going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cover this mixture with water now. Now, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you cover this whole mixture with water. You want to make sure that all of the rice and the turkey and the veggies, they're all submerged in this water. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give this a quick stir, and I'm going to cover this until the rice is fully cooked. Now, while it's cooking, you want to make sure you go in periodically to go ahead and stir it and make sure the mixture doesn't stick. And you also want to make sure to add a little bit more water if the mixture starts to get really dry on you. I also wanted to mention that I'm adding in all of my dhal, or my split peas, because this is the point where I'm going to add them in, and they're going to cook just a little more until they're fully done, and it'll finish by the time all of the rice is done too. So I will show you guys what this looks like when it's almost done. Had my mixture covered on a medium heat for about 3 minutes now, and what you're actually looking for is for your mixture to come up to a rolling boil. So what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to add in all of my okra. Now I'm adding it now so early in the cooking process only because it does take a little while to cook. So if I add it now, it'll be done once all of the rice is done. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cover it and I'm going to allow it to cook until all of the rice is tender. Remember, you want to keep going in there and you want to keep stirring, and you want to go ahead and add more water if it does need. I also wanted to quickly mention that when I added the okra in, I went ahead and I added some of this adobo seasoning or all-purpose seasoning in. After the rice is about halfway done, you want to go in and add all of your kidney beans or red beans in. Now, the reason why I'm adding them now and I didn't add them in the beginning was because since they're canned beans, they tend to be on the softer side. So if I were to have added them in the beginning, they would have sort of melted away into the rice and they wouldn't have held up structurally. So that's why I'm adding them now. I'm also going to go ahead and add in all of my scallions, and I've added them now for the same reason, so this way they wouldn't melt away and you wouldn't be able to see them by the time his rice is done cooking. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cover this rice. I'm going to let it finish cooking, and then I'll show you guys the finished product. Alright everyone, so my cook-up rice is finally done. Now as you guys can see, there is still a little bit of liquid in there, and that's because I like for my cook-up rice to be wet. There are two ways for you to eat your cook-up rice: wet or on the drier side, and I prefer it to be wet. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is go ahead and dish some out for you guys to see. And if you wanted your cook-up rice to be a little drier, of course all you need to do is add less water than I did. As you guys can see, all of that okra is held up nicely to the cooking process. They're not melting away at all. They've stayed nice and sturdy, and you can see all those nice little carrots throughout and the beans, and it's just perfect. I want to let you guys know that it had the perfect amount of pepper, the perfect amount of seasoning. It was just great. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please go ahead and give this recipe a thumbs up. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so yet, and please comment down below on what you guys would like me to make next. Once again, thanks for watching everyone.